McDonald's has entered a Minecraft movie universe, and Grimace, Birdie, and Hamburglar just spawned as new collectibles as part of a Minecraft movie meal with your choice of Big Mac or 10-piece chicken McNuggets with spicy nether flame sauce. Participate in McDonald's for a limited time. A Minecraft movie only in theaters.
There's no purpose in teaching anybody who don't really want to learn, who really don't want to get to it. Everybody want to play entrepreneur. They don't want the sacrifice that come with the shit.
Late nights, early mornings.
You're going to lose friends, lose girlfriends, family going to call you crazy, not going to believe in you, then you make it, and then everybody going to be like, I'm proud of you, let me get some money.
What I've realized that wealthy people understand, and people in general, it's the small concepts that you can apply to get wealthy. You don't gotta be super smart and gotta know all the intricacies of real estate or taxes or e-commerce or whatever, trucking, whatever it is.
It's good if you want to be rich in that business, but you don't need to know that.
You don't need to know everything. You just need to know small, basic concepts. And one of the smallest basic concepts that anybody can understand is get money, buy income. Get money, buy more money.
I woke up feeling wealthy today. My bank account might not agree, but hey, that shit on the way. Me and my niggas laying brick on top of brick till we straight. If you the type that play the victim, you can't come in my space. You know this game ain't for the weak, it's hard to carry this weight. I keep my balance through the ups and downs, I'm never gonna break. You feel the purpose in my spirit when you look in my face. Cause this ain't a second I can waste, I'm putting food on plate.
What up, what up, what up? What's good with it, wealthy people? You are now tuned into your favorite show, the Black Wealth Renaissance Podcast. I am your humble and gracious host, David Bellard, your brother on your wealth building journey, and I'm here with my brother from another, Jalen Clark. How you doing, bro?
Man, I'm doing great, dog. I am amazing. Back in Dallas for a long haul now. I done ended my contract in Tennessee, so I'm great, dog.
Out of Trashville, my dog?
Yeah, man, out of Trashville, Tennessee. So it's feeling amazing, man. I'm really happy to get this episode started, man, because we got some great information we're about to go over, a topic that we have never covered.
Facts.
That I'm pretty sure a lot of people have never covered, but it's a great influence in our community.
That's a fact. And these brothers are trailblazers in their own right. That is definitely a fact, man. And yeah, bro, so I'm excited as well. This is something I've been looking forward to for a while.
But before we get started, gotta let them know, y'all please leave us a 5-star rating and review, and make sure y'all donate in the show notes so y'all can help us get our studio. We definitely appreciate it. Thank you.
Definitely. And while we plug in a couple things, definitely want to let y'all know about the Black Men Summit coming up October 22nd. This is going to be probably a week after this releases. So if you haven't already, I need you to grab your tickets.
Get them now.
We have in-person and virtual tickets available. So if you can't come out to Dallas, Texas, you can get your people in the door to be a part of this one-of-a-kind unique event. Only $25. You can stream the whole event. If you are available to come in town, we actually have just upgraded our itinerary. We're going to have 3 days worth of events now. At first, it was going to be 1 day. So now we're going to have 3 days. The first day, we're going to be out there at Texas Live. That's the third day. Yeah. The first day, we're going to have a mixer with the women. Yeah, I know the women been looking, man. They've been like, man,
y'all can tap
all these black men going to be here town, and y'all ain't got nothing to do with the women. It's like, I still laugh at it. This is one older lady. She had hit us up, and she was like, I need y'all to get a list of all the single black men and hand it out to the women so we can have more marriage in the community. I was like, I don't think that's how that's going to work, but I mean, we could try, you know what I'm saying?
We can try.
Brothers, if y'all looking for women too, we going to have that the first day. The second day is going to be just for the brothers. With women, you are invited to volunteer. So if you want to come on through, you looking for them.
Help
on,
hand and help
you know what I'm saying?
Actually get the production side of everything. Y'all can definitely help us out with that side.
So, and then the third day, we're going to have Texas Live for the Cowboys game, and then a private boat party. So, man, Black Men Summit is going to be lit. If you haven't already, like I said, grab your tickets. The link to the Black Men Summit will be in the show notes. But yeah, man, I look forward to seeing y'all there. But that's enough of that. as I was saying before, man, I am super excited about today's episode. We got two brothers out here from Houston, Texas, man, that are absolutely doing something amazing. They have the first animation studio in Houston, Texas that just so happens to be black owned.
Yes, sir.
And they are the fan. I'm a fan of their work. As you can see, I got on the shirt, man. They own their own animation studio out here in Houston, and they are the creators of God Punch and the creators of Studio Maho. I'm saying that correctly?
Yep.
We got Pat Thomas and Ayinde Hall. How y'all doing, brothers?
What's going on, man? Happy to be here, bro.
Yes. Doing great, man. I'm happy that y'all could pull up, man. I'm glad that y'all came out from the H, man. I know you mentioned it. Y'all came up for the pod, bro. Like I was telling Jalen, I was super excited about this. I've been an anime fan my whole life. I think
Dragon Ball.
Dragon
Ball started me.
Yo.
Not Dragon Ball Z, but Dragon Ball.
Yeah, man. Like it's one of those things, as Jalen alluded to it at the beginning, man. This is something that is big in the black community. I don't think absolutely. A lot of us always think about it, but how many of us when we were little kids was running home from the bus
3 o'clock
trying to catch 2-9?
Trying to catch 2-9. So I think it's so amazing that you guys have actually taken that influence and started to build your own business in that space. But before I get into it, man, I would love for y'all to just introduce yourselves to our audience and then kind of lead them into how y'all connected to start this.
For sure. My name is Patrick Thomas. I'm a founder of Studio Maho. I'm a writer for God Punch, co-writer for our other series that we're working on called Blade Titans. I'm from Natchitoches, Louisiana. It ain't pronounced the way you spell it, but we here, but I live in Houston, Texas, and I've been there for going on 4 years now.
Yeah, what's up, y'all? Ayinde Hall. I'm from Houston, Texas. I go by Ayind Designs. Kokujin Creates on social media platforms. I'm the artist for God Punch, co-founder of Studio Maho. I do the art and I write for Blade Titans, and I'm the creator for that series. So, yeah.
That's what's up. So I kind of want to talk about what inspired the idea of a black-owned anime.
So for me, when I was growing up, like you said, I used to watch Dragon Ball all the time. Me and my little cousins, we used to like draw our favorite characters or whatever, and we used to like color on black,
Facts.
Yeah, we used to color on black, As I got older, my imagination kind of started to develop a little more, and I would do fan fiction, and I would just create a character and put them inside of another universe, like Teen Titans, Naruto, Dragon Ball, whatever. But eventually, I kind of got to a point where I was like, well, this will never be canon. It'll never be real. Like the writers would never acknowledge this. So instead of doing that, why don't I just do my own? And at first, it was like, okay, I just want to do this as something fun, But after a while, like I started sending out the script to more and more people for the idea that I had. And they were like, okay, where's the next one? What's next? What's the next chapter? And I was like, wait, okay, y'all really like this. All right, this was going to be it, but okay, we could do more. And man, from there, it turned into one series turned into two. And then that's when me and Ayinde kind of realized, like, this is just bigger than a series. Like, we could do so much more. And so we just had the idea to just say, forget it. Let's go out and do a studio, man.
So what brought up God Punch specifically for you? How'd you come up with that name?
So with God Punch, I remember it was 2015. And I was still living at home in Natchitoches. I was preparing to move to Texas to start graduate school. And around that time, like, I was pestering God, you know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like everybody has a guardian angel. So for some reason, I was just like really pestering God. I was like, okay, who's my guardian angel? And so I remember one night, I fell asleep. And in the dream, like, there was like an actual angel that presented itself to me. And I thought to myself, like, somehow I knew, I was like, this is Michael, like the archangel. And I woke up and I was like, man, it would be kind of dope, like, if I wrote about this, just from like my perspective. And so I continued to write, and eventually, I kind of got like a synopsis together. But then I was like, okay, you need a cool ass name if we're gonna really do this. You need something that's catchy. So I was like, God Punch. And I was like, God Punch. That's it. Quick, catchy, rolls right off the tongue. I like it. And we just kind of went from there.
That's what's up.
So, man, I think about the anime industry. I often look at it like from the business aspect of it. I think we kind of discount it as just cartoons sometimes, but I was looking into it, and anime is a $20 billion industry, bro.
Yes.
So, as some brothers creating their own studio, I wanted to ask, like, how have y'all started to tap into this industry?
So, with it being like such a versatile industry, because I mean, you got to think like it's more than just the animation. Like, you got the merch, you got the clothes, you got the video games, you know, you got plushies, you know, you got conventions, you know, things of that nature. And so the idea that we had for a studio was, let's try and touch a little bit of everything. So we continue to expand the studio and bring on people that, you know, have some experience doing this. You know, like, we just brought on a good friend of mine's, Kisa, and she's, you know, in fashion school. And so I'm like, okay, you're in fashion school. I'm going to put you in charge of the clothing and the merchandise so you can design us some custom made outfits, you know, so we could really put that out there. You know, we got a great marketing team as well. So, you know, we got marketers who, okay, like, I have a degree in this, you know, I'm not just cool on Twitter. You know, I really do this. They're the ones who are helping us come up with strategies so we can try and touch the masses. You know, we got actual animators who can actually create the content and bring it to life. We got artists, you know, and we also got assistants for the artists, you know. So it's really trying to put different people in a place under one umbrella so that we could touch everything and have like a lot of hands and a lot of different pots so we can try and get some of that money.
Hey, that's what's up. And
at State Farm, we're committed to uplifting Black futures. In collaboration with organizations like 100 Black Men and National Urban League, State Farm provides high school students with the opportunity to learn and apply best practice strategies for saving and investing, all while offering academic support, life skills, and exposure to college access programs to prepare these students for life after high school. Check out 100blackmen.org and nul.org to donate and learn more. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
McDonald's has entered a Minecraft movie universe, and Grimace, Birdie, and Hamburglar just spawned as new collectibles in the overworld. Now for a limited time, you can get one of 6 McDonald's collectibles when you order a Minecraft movie meal. Ooh. With your choice of Big Mac or 10-piece chicken McNuggets with spicy nether flame sauce. Available now in a biome near you. Oh, and at your local McDonald's. I participate in McDonald's for a limited time. A Minecraft movie only in theaters.
With the industry, right? So I'm looking at, you kind of went into it, building out that team.
Yeah.
I know you mentioned, so you got marketers, you have people who are actually doing the design. So you got designers, animators. What is needed to start a studio?
I talked about this the other day, but I think you really want to know what you want your studio to do. You know, a lot of studios, they serve like different purposes. You know, you got some studios, they just do like editing, you know, for sounds and for videos and things. And some of them just do, you know, videography and things like that. The first step, in my opinion, is to really know, okay, what is it that I want my studio to do? And from there, you start trying to find the people that could really fill in those gaps. And for us, the big thing was, okay, he and I have too much on our plate right now because we're trying to run the business and create the content as well. So we need people to make sure that we to alleviate that burden, you know, so that we could get back to actually putting stuff out, you know, because it's cool to actually have a studio. Don't mean shit if you ain't got nothing to put out though, you know. So that was really the process of like trying to recruit. But I would say think of what you want your studio to do, and then just go from there.
Gotcha. So I want to go back a little bit because I think I kind of jumped over some stuff, man. So I want to get to how you and Ayinde connected, man. Okay. Because Ayinde, I want to bring you in on the conversation as well, bro. Because like you had the idea, but you're not the animator, right? You're not the person who can draw. So how did you brothers connect, and like how did you bring this to life, Ayinde?
So when we used to tell this story, we both thought that he was the one that hit me up, like DM me first about a commission, which became the first, like the cover for our first chapter of God Punch, the one that's in color, not the one with the train, but the one that's in color. But I actually hit him up. It was a thread on Twitter of people just boosting work from artists, right? Saying, hey, you know, post your stuff under this thread and make a massive thread, and we'll just boost it out there so that, you know, if you guys are looking for commissions or any kind of work, people can find you easier, right? So I put my stuff under the thread. I had 2 hits, one from a guy that I didn't end up working with. I just, like, the style didn't match what I was doing. And it wasn't for an anime or anything. It was just like just some random commission. Then Pat was saying that he needed somebody to do a commission of a cover, right, for his series, and it was a anime series or a manga, and I was like, yeah, let me hit him up, see what he's talking about, because he had liked my post, and I ended up doing that commission for him. I was still in college at the time. I was a senior, so that was into 2018, right?
Yeah, end of 2018.
Yeah, so I did that commission. We stayed in touch because we both had series that we were working on. Like I had my personal stuff, he had his series. We were trying to get with another company at the time. Turned out they weren't accepting submissions that year randomly. Like the 1 year we tried to submit, they're not, they weren't doing it. So we just stayed in touch. And then May of next year in 2019, I was about to graduate, and he hits me up. He's like, "Hey, can you come on and be the artist for this series, like just the actual artist for the series?" And I was kind of like in my dorm staring at the message for a good 30 minutes. I was like, I'm about to graduate college, and I know I'm gonna be looking for a job. Do I really want to like be working on something while I'm doing that? And the rest is history. I took that leap of faith.
Yeah, we here now.
We here now. It's 3 years later. So
what made you accept it?
I mean, that's always what I wanted to do, right? Like I went to school for fine arts, graduated in fine arts. I went to school not knowing what I was going to do in fine arts. I always loved comics and drawing and stuff like that. But I went in like, I don't know how I'm going to make a career out of this. I went there initially wanting to paint, ended up painting, didn't really work out. I mean, like, not that I wasn't good at it, but I just don't have the patience to sit there for 8 hours working on a painting. That's not for me. So I switched up my major and went into digital art and animation. And while I ended up with an animation degree, being one of the first people to graduate with an animation degree from that school, I went to Southwestern University. I didn't end up using the 3D animation because I was still more partial to that traditional 2D style. You know what I'm saying? So Pat hitting me up was just kind of like catering to my actual interest. I was like, yeah, that's something I would love to make a career out of, just like drawing comics or something. So that's kind of what happened. I ended up accepting that, and now we got 2 series.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. Mm-hmm. And whenever y'all were talking about the year y'all submitted to another studio that y'all were trying to work with, and it didn't work out, it made me think in my head about the story with Jay-Z, right?
Yeah.
Jay-Z, Rockefeller, the reason they started their own label was because nobody would sign them. It's not, may not be nobody would have signed y'all, but y'all didn't have the opportunity to sign with anybody. Yeah. So y'all went ahead and started y'all own. And I think there's a lot of power in that. And for Jay-Z and them back then in 2000, 1990, whatever, they had to print CDs and they had to go out there on the street to build a fan base. So I want to know, like, after you guys came together and started joining forces, how did y'all start
to get it out?
Get a fan base? Yeah, like how did you start getting out the actual story of God Punch?
So like we started pushing it, heavy via social media. A podcast gave us the opportunity to come on and, kind of talk about the series more. And, it kind of went from there because once, the followers from that podcast heard about it, more podcasts started reaching out to us. But just like how like rappers sell like CDs out the trunk, we was going at conventions, with the backpack on, selling the books out the backpack, and that was before, we started getting boots and things of that nature, really, kind of getting invited to conventions and stuff like that. But I mean,
so y'all was straight gorilla with it, like,
bro, like we would go to conventions as guests with the backpack on with like 60 books. And we was
backpack was heavy as shit.
Bro, we was pushing them,
You're just talking about the series, walking around a convention like, hey man, we got our own series. I don't think did we have business cards yet?
We didn't have business cards
I don't think
yet.
we had business cards yet.
The book was a business card.
So like, where did y'all go to get the book printed? Did y'all have to go through a certain publisher?
It was like a company.
Yeah,
because we like at this point, we self-publish, since we pay for everything. But we definitely like went through a company to like make sure we got some good quality books out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So with the book being the business card, were y'all selling these copies?
Oh yeah.
So
we done got chased out of conventions, like for real, like
y'all just kind of walking around like, hey yo, look. Hey man, I know you're a fan of anime because I think that's super smart and like for business owners out there, that makes a lot of sense. You're going where an audience already is. Your target audience is there,
right?
So you pay whatever the fee is to attend this convention, and instead of just going as a consumer, you going like, I got my product, I'm gonna push it. I don't care if I got a booth. I don't care if I'm licensed
by any means necessary
because. That's how you get your brand out there in the hands of people. I know I learned about God Punch through social media. I think you sent it to me. Yeah, Jalen sent it to me. I said, wait a minute. Some black people with an anime? Nigga, I've been watching anime since I was a kid. Let me tap in. And I read the first chapter. I was like, oh, this is intriguing. Well, let me look when the next one coming out. You know what I'm saying? So I love that you guys went out there and got it off the ground like that because I think a lot of times we make excuses about trying to build a fan base and trying to get an audience, but you went to capture that target audience where they are.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've always been a type of person. I always challenge myself to say, well, how bad do you want it? You know, we got invited to New York to meet with like a pretty big publishing company at a convention. And I was like, all right, well, we're going to New York. You know, and so sure enough, like we flew out there, you know, and had the meeting, you know, and they still have a copy of our stuff to this day. You know, we still keep in contact with them. But it's just about how bad do you want to chase your dream? Like I said, man, we got chased out conventions by security, you know, for trying to give stuff to people, you know, coming over from Japan, you know, so we could really push the agenda. But by any means necessary, because up until this point, it's worked.
Were you ever worried if you would give them this piece of information, they would steal your contact, your intellectual property?
I have a very good attorney.
That part, but also like the people that we were reaching out to were like, these are like directors of studios and stuff. And number one, you don't really have to worry about Japanese people trying to make a black anime.
Right,
The character's white, which is like the most mind-blowing shit to me. I've always wondered, like, you ever thought about that? Like, why are Japanese people drawing white characters?
Yeah. So we were not really, that wasn't even really a thought in our mind. We were just trying to like put it out there because those types of studios, even though they may not make that themselves, we could easily, you know, we have enough clout and enough money, we take it over there.
It's trying to infiltrate that market.
You know, we can infiltrate that market and make those connections.
Our big thing was, you know, before we really start trying to put stuff out heavy was like, protect your content. Yeah. You know, like I said, we got a really great attorney. So we reached out to her and was like, hey, like, can we get the ball rolling so we go and get this trademark? You know, we want to make sure like when we put this out, we own it. Nobody can take it from us.
Smart.
At State Farm, we're committed to uplifting Black futures. In collaboration with organizations like 100 Black Men and National Urban League, State Farm provides high school students with the opportunity to learn and apply best practice strategies for saving and investing, all while offering academic support, life skills, and exposure to college access programs to prepare these students for life after high school. Check out 100blackmen.org and nul.org to donate and learn more. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
That's super smart. We talked about that with Saludo on the episodes not too long ago. Like too many of us, we put our ideas out there and then we don't have the things in place to own our IP. So it's great
that y'all had that vision.
That forethought. Because now you really invested in your vision. If somebody come and try to steal y'all shit, guess what? Cease and desist.
Cease and desist.
What's my money?
Cease and desist, you know.
So I wanted to get into the books a little bit more.
Okay.
So I know y'all were out here trapping them out. You said you're self-publishing. Can we get into like some of the cost of that? Like, so whenever you go into self-publishing, how much do you have to front? And then like what type of return is that on that?
So going into self-publishing, usually we kind of like ballpark like, okay, how many are we going to need for this convention? I was like, how much do we usually pay just for mixing? It's like what?
Well, if you want to start out like how we started out with chapter 1, I think when we first did that, we had we only did like 60 copies or something.
Yeah,
like that. It was a small amount we could easily pay for. It only cost $80 or something like that.
Yeah.
To get 60 copies.
Yep. So that's what, like,
it's like $1 something a book.
Yeah. Like $1.25, something like that.
Yeah. Real cheap. So we had those made, and then it was up to us doing all the work on social media to like market it out there. Also, you know, like you said, going on the podcast, spreading the word out there, and really and then going to conventions, you know, spreading the word verbally and people actually being able to see us as the faces of the series and not just online, like, I don't know who made this. You know what I'm saying? So
we really start picking up traction like once we got like the physical copies, because it's like, oh, I could hold this now. I could put this on my bookshelf, you know? And so like you said, you know, $1 and some change per copy. Then it's on us to, all right, how much are we going to charge for this? All right, well, maybe we could bring in, you know, a couple extra dollars if we charge for autographs, because we might be famous one day and somebody will appreciate that. You know, all right, well, we got to ship out now, you know? So, you know, a lot of the stuff that we did, man, it came out of pocket. You know, and even to this day, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not, you know, as established as we like to be, as we will be in the future. So some of the stuff we doing is like, all right, cool. Like, hey, man, we got to pitch in, you know, we got to get it out there. And luckily, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody on the studio is like, hey, man, we believe in it, how much you need, you know? Like, let's get it going.
That's important, having a team that believe in your vision.
Yeah.
So there's a few things I want to kind of peel back from that. The first thing was you stated, you know, y'all started picking up traction whenever y'all got the physical copies. Y'all are actually doing digital copies as well, right? Talk about what was that like for you? How'd y'all find that website that would actually let y'all do the digital versions?
Yeah, like on Webtoon.
Oh, Webtoon. Oh, so we started releasing on this app called Webtoon. It's like a Korean app where they do like, you know, different original series and things of that nature. But with Webtoon, the beautiful part about this was like you could upload your own work there as well. And so I just learned about it because I read series on that website. And so once I started like, okay, like we could upload our stuff for free. We can continue to upload, and they have like a really, really big audience. Like, all right, cool. This will be like a place where we can gain some traction. So pretty much, you know, whenever we would try and push the agenda, be like, all right, cool. Well, we're selling them, but I mean, if you want, you know, you can go here for free and read them, you know, and you know,
team of like a mixtape.
Yeah, team of fussers be like, don't tell them they can go read it for free, but it's like, you know, I'm in it for the love of the game just as much as I am for financial security, and me, you know, doing it for the love of the game. I want you to actually enjoy the content that we make. You know, I'm not just trying to make $1. You know, it's important, you know, for you to actually like what we put out. I want you to like it because it's good, not just because it's black. Right. You know, I want you to support it, you know, as well because I'm black. But my thing is like I take pride in my work, you know, and so I want you to support this because you like it. Me being black or us being black, that's only a positive.
That's the icing on the cake.
That's the icing on the cake, you know. It actually being good is what's important to me.
So I kind of want to go deeper into like the actual anime side, right?
Okay.
For people who are not familiar with anime is just basically a Japanese version of animated content, right?
It's animation from Japan.
So there's also another part to it, though, what you were just alluding to, the actual manga, which is
the comic form.
The comic form. So can we just talk about some of the differences, how y'all bringing in some of the styling from the Japanese comics and the animations, but y'all also putting, you know, the black spin on it, like you said. We got representation where even on Naruto, right, they were like the Black Clan from like
the Cloud Village, the village in the cloud.
Killer B being a rapper still like the most racist shit in the world.
But he got cornrows, man.
At least he had cornrows.
He got cornrows.
Like, he got a rap.
Ubuwe and shit, like he had white hair that didn't even really go with it. So like it's cool that y'all got a sister with a fro, but you can also kind of see some of
the influence.
The influence. So kind of going to the styles and how y'all merged and meshed all of that.
Yeah, it was really important to pay homage, you know, to this community that I'm trying to respectfully infiltrate. You know, man, I read this stuff, you know, I consume it. I've been consuming it since as long as I can remember, man. So me making sure that I do it right, you know, like that was super important to me. And I mean, even over there, you know what I'm saying, like they have different art styles, they have different writing styles, different paneling styles. So you know, everybody puts their own twist to it, you know, but there's like a certain foundation that, you know, it's like a checklist, you know, it got to contain these things. So my goal was to try and, you know, hit as much of that checklist as I possibly can while making sure that, you know, the people know that we're responsible for this, we're behind this.
What's some of that
I was going. That's what I was about to ask.
I would say, you know, definitely the black and white. You know, the way that they panel, you know, just kind of being in this industry, you learn about the difference between Japanese manga and American comics, where in American comics, it's more dialogue heavy. The chat bubbles are like really big versus Japanese manga, the art kind of tells the story just as much as the words do. So, you don't get, all those text heavy dialogue boxes, maybe 2 or 3 lines sometimes, unless you get in the info dump. But the art is what really sells the story. So it's making sure they're like, okay, I have to learn how to write like them too. Like I can't just tell the story like them. Like I have to adjust everything. And so
I got the expressions on the characters need to tell part of the story. Exactly.
And so I became a student of the game. We both did. And like, that's kind of like the beauty of our friendship and our relationship, because it's like, okay, we had to develop that chemistry on, okay, how can we tell this story, but make sure that like it really is influenced by them. And this is not like just some American comic, in black and white.
Gotcha. And then like some of the other differences, I know the hallmark differences. I never started to think about it. Is God Punch read the same way as traditional Japanese manga? No. Is it the right to left versus left to right?
So when we did God Punch, like originally I wanted to, but something happened. I think we were told that like we wouldn't be able to like actually like take it to a publisher in America if it was read like that. So we did it, was left to right?
Yeah, it's left to right.
Yeah, we did God Punch left to right. And I mean, we just kind of stuck with that format. Now, like Blade Titans, our second series, that one's right to left, because at that point we were like, you know what, we just gonna do it ourselves and we're gonna do it how we want to, So
well, and also it was for a contest.
Yeah, it was for a contest in Japan.
It was for the Shonen Jump contest, and that criteria, it had to be
right to left.
So once we started it that way, it was like, well, I'm not gonna go back and read 60 pages in left to right format. We might as well just keep it right to left. And like he said, since we're self-published now, it doesn't matter. Yeah, so we can do it however we want.
Mm-hmm. That's dope. So off camera, we're also talking about some of the other influences. Some of the things that anime and manga encaptures. Some of the mythological.
Mythological. Yeah. I got you.
Y'all don't judge me. Mythological aspects of it. A lot of the manga and the comics are based off of the mythological presences, but y'all are also taking in some of the more traditional black and Greek and African mythological presence. How are y'all fusing that in?
So
the NBA playoffs are here, and I'm getting my bets in on FanDuel. Talk to me, Chuck GPT. What do you know?
All sorts of interesting stuff, even Charles Barkley's greatest fear.
Hey, nobody needs to know that.
New customers bet $5 and get $250 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
21 plus and present in Virginia. Must be first online real money wager. $5 deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's trying to like do research, whether it's like you're trying to incorporate a villain, whether you're trying to incorporate a hero, whether you're trying to include like a specific kind of lore, or whether you're incorporating, you creating your own lore and you just need like some influences. Like,
1 second, break down lore. What is lore?
Lore is kind of like some of the history, behind your story that kind of makes, things turn, whether it be like artifacts, heroes, villains, like legendary places, lands, things of that nature.
Gotcha.
Just kind of like historical stuff in the background. But it's like doing research on that kind of stuff from like different countries, different cultures, and taking inspiration from that. Like to write, it takes like a lot of research, because you don't want to just tell the same story, as somebody else, and you also don't want to like just pull from one place either. So
you're just creating your whole own world essentially.
You creating your own world, and I mean, that's the beauty of writing, because you could take from other people's worlds and use it as influence. Hopefully 60, 70 years down the line, somebody will be able to take from our worlds and, kind of, start their own series.
And I kind of want to get into the animation styles. Some of the things that y'all were telling us was like the actual fighting sequences and everything. That's based on real life martial arts.
Yeah.
How do y'all research that? How does that come about? Can y'all kind of explain that to the audience?
Cool. You want to take it?
Yeah, so like...
Rakuten helps me be a smarter shopper and save money on just about everything. They have all things you need to buy, whether it's home essentials or a self-care treat just for you. With Rakuten, I get cash back on clothes, groceries, travel, and much, much more. Even better, you can stack cash back on top of other deals, like store sales and credit card points. In case you're wondering, the stores on Rakuten are the ones you know and love, and lots of cool ones waiting to be discovered. When it comes to savvy shopping and saving money, Rakuten is a no-brainer. It's free and easy to join. Just go to Rakuten.com now or download the Rakuten app today. That's Rakuten, Rakuten.
For God Punch, I know that you have a few different styles that you want to put in there. For me, we do the same type of research. So it'll start with, okay, we got this character and we want them to fight like this. So we know nothing about that fighting style. We got to go to Google. We got to go to YouTube. We got to go, like you said, it's a lot of research and it's a lot of digging because Google is vast. The internet is vast. You're not going to get the answer you need just by like the first couple of links that pop up. So you go through 6, 7, 8 pages on Google, find, all the resources that you need, compile them into like a notes app, which is what I normally do. And then study it. You got to respect the craft enough to, when you want to pull something, it has to be authentic. Right. So, for fighting styles, that's what we do. Go on Google, go on YouTube, watch videos of fights. Sword fighting, like Blade Titans has a lot of swords and stuff in it. That I pull from real history. Like those swords are real in history. And even the people who created the swords were real swordsmen. There's some mythological stuff behind there, right? But because that's not from where I'm from, I gotta go do the research. So that's how it goes.
It ain't easy. You can't just get out there and pick up a pen and decide.
I just start writing some shit and
you get the idea.
Yeah,
quick,
you get the
right?
ideas, but like if you want to do it right, you want to do it effectively, like you got to do your homework. Like you really got to become a student of it, and that process it teaches you to respect the craft.
I got you. The idea is free, but the execution gonna take some work.
That's the important part.
That's a bar.
You can't just execute for free. That make a lot of sense. Now, I kind of want to get into the animation side of it some more too.
Yeah.
So I know it started off as a manga, right, for God Punch and Blade Titans. So you're drawing these just a lot of paneling, right? So I want to talk about how do you take these comics and turn them into an actual anime? Yeah, like how you take this and bring it to life.
Yes. So like the panels. What's good about like Japanese manga is that the way that you do paneling is different. Like Patrick said, from how we do comics in the West. The sequential art style is different. The way they tell stories is different. So it's a lot easier to be like, okay, well, for this scene, like, we had 6 or 7 panels on this page just setting the scene, like a character walking or something like that. And we'll pull those panels together and be like, okay, visualize how that sequence would look in an animated format. So we have a creative director, executive producer, Lamard, who will do storyboarding. So take the panels from the comic and create basically like I said, storyboard. So it's like paneling, but it's the actual scenes.
So it's like a sequential order of the scenes?
Yes. So it's a big sheet, big document, and it'd be like, for example, for God Punch, Percy sitting on the ground. It's got description underneath each of the panels for each scene. And it may have, storyboarding is interesting because you have to take into account how the camera's going to move and stuff like that. So there's like arrows saying, okay, the camera's going to pan this way. We're going to have this kind of music playing in the background. There's a lot of little notes for each scene so that the animators can easily decipher what's going on, and then they can translate that into moving pictures. So,
gotcha.
So even with anime, so I didn't even know there was camera angles and
shit
that go into this. I thought, you might have just put it into a little program and then it did what it did. So how do you actually animate something?
So if it's 2D animation, like the way it looks like hand drawn, right? That the way that camera angles work is there is a camera in the program, but everything is 2-dimensional. It's not a 3-dimensional space where like if you watched something like Despicable Me or something like that, that's all 3D. That's a 3D space. Everything is sculpted. The characters are sculpted. It's like working with clay, but in a program, right? And there are actual cameras you can move around. Now for 2D animation, there is a camera but it's always facing in one direction.
Got
right?
you.
So the way that you can kind of, sometimes they mix them, right? So you'll have the characters will be 2-dimensional and the backgrounds will be 3D, right? You can put the 2D characters on top of a 3D model or something like that for the background. So if your background's are super complex or something like that, and you need the camera to actually maybe pan around the whole character or something like that, you will have to draw all sides of the character moving around, but the background can be created 3-dimensionally in a program or something like that. Okay. So there is ways to mix it. There's some people don't like 3D animation because sometimes it just doesn't mix well.
It looked kind of wonky. I watched Attack on Titan.
Sometimes
I think it's like season 2 they tried that shit, and it was a couple scenes where it looked kind of weird, blending 3D and 2D.
Yeah, now they're getting a lot better now that the technology is getting better. The techniques that they're using to mix the 2D textures and stuff on top of 3D objects is getting a lot better. So that's why you see, maybe if you've seen like Jujutsu Kaisen or something like that, a lot of their backgrounds are 3-dimensional. They're not 2-dimensional. They're just painted over in the 2D style to make them look 2-dimensional. So
now, when it comes to animation, right? How many people are needed to animate something like that? Because I was telling y'all off camera, like I've heard stories of like the Japanese manga, the people that are animating these shows, how they work really long hours, and it'll be like a team of maybe 10 people just sitting there drawing all day. How many people does it take to bring these things to life?
I would say it takes, I mean, you could do it with one person. It's just going to be a lot on that one person.
Right.
Ideally, you'd want to have like a pretty nice sized team so that everybody could share the workload, and everybody does different parts. It can be done with one person. Do we recommend it? No.
If you want it out in a timely fashion, definitely need a lot of hands, because people just don't understand how long and time consuming it is just to get something small like 30 seconds out.
Yeah.
Right? Like 30 seconds in time terms is like, okay, that's quick, right?
Yeah.
But you got to understand that like animation is usually animated by frame, right? So
30 seconds is what, like
it's 20. Usually it's 24 frames per second. So you do 30 times 24. That's how many frames go into 30 seconds.
You have to do the math. Hey, man, where you get this big highlighter keys, man?
Off of Amazon.
They're bright.
720 frames.
720 frames
720
for 30 seconds.
Different drawings.
Yes.
Damn.
Individual frames that they had to draw.
And that's why a lot of animators, like, they'll charge like per second. So
be like $100
$100 a second.
Yeah.
Really?
100 a second. So it could be a lucrative field, which is, ideally, why we want to tap into it, aside from like just want to, do our own stuff. But the money is there, it's just, getting the exposure, getting the people by. Yeah. So, I mean, if you do the math, you know what I'm saying? Like $100 a second, typical anime episode might run for like 22 minutes and 50 seconds. Then you got a 13 episode season. That's just one season.
You over here with the calculator, man? What we got here? Because you talking $100.
1370, 1300, 1,370 frames. That's seconds, whatever. That's just for one episode. Times $100. God damn.
Now you got to multiply that by like a 13 episode season.
Nigga, that's $1 million off of what?
Yeah. That's why a lot of studios, they don't really pay their animators like that, because when the way it works in the industry is a studio will take on a project, right? And they operate in the red until they make that money back from how much it costs to create the anime. So a lot of studios, they operate like on the edge of, being in the negative.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's why animators bear the brunt of the work a lot of the time, because they're the ones in charge of getting it out. Corners get cut sometimes because you got to get it out in a specific time for, you got deadlines, and they may be working on multiple projects at one time. Sometimes studios, if they're big enough, they have multiple teams that they designate for each project, but it's still just a ton of work.
Yeah.
So
24 frames a second is mind blowing to me. I couldn't imagine so like you're drawing basically each little increment of a movement.
Absolutely.
Each increment. So now I kind of want to ask, when it comes to having a team, right? We talk about SOPs sometimes on this podcast, like standard operating procedures. So whenever it comes to an animation style, is it a way, or is there things that y'all put in place to make sure that it's consistent across the board? Because, you know, your animation style may be different than somebody else's. So how do you make sure that it looks consistent, especially in that team environment?
I think for us is all about team building and rapport and making sure that we work together. And, you know, like our animation department, they, you know, we'll get in the Discord one day and like all of them are just in there drawing, you know, but they're also responsible for different things, you know, like somebody be working on backgrounds or another person might be, you know, working on characters, you know, but the goal, even with them drawing, is to make sure that, like, okay, I understand his art style, he understands mine, you know, trying to be someone in the middle. They understand his art style since he's the one who's actually writing the characters out, you know, but that also comes from, like, him doing the character sheets, too, you know, so they know, like, okay, like, this is what this is supposed to look like. I have to keep on working until mine's look like this. Yeah,
there's, like, every character that ends up in anime is going to have a character sheet, so it's different expressions, different angles of the character, that the animators can basically use as reference while they're doing the anime. And they also will do practice, right, and learn how to draw the characters consistently, so that anybody that's working on it, it's at least close, right? Yeah. Throughout the entirety of, you know, the animation process. But then at the end, there is a person or people that are called cleanup artists, and they'll come in and make sure that everything is very consistent. Like all the lines are clean, and the characters look exactly the same all the way throughout. So that's their job, is to just, like, once the frames are almost done, they're like in the rough animation phase, and like they look pretty much done. Then somebody comes over and basically traces over the lines, makes them clean and stuff. So,
damn, that's what's up. So, okay, just off of animations, you can make like $1,700,000 just off of doing a full season for someone. I kind of want to get into the other ways that you can make money as well.
Different streams of income.
You talked about the plushies. You talked about the merch. You talked about video games and things like that. What do you guys see for a studio? Is it, how do I say it?
Maho.
Maho.
Like my hoe.
Studio Maho. So, like, what are some of the streams that y'all are focusing on? Because I know at the beginning you said it, you know, you have to figure out, what do you want your studio to do?
For us, the foundation of Maho is the manga, the books. You know, that's what we want right there. But aside from that, it's doing novels as well. So taking, you know, the manga that we did, translating it to novel format, because now I can get paid twice off just the same thing story that I've already, the same thing. Because some people might not want to see the pictures. So if you don't want to see the pictures, cool, I get it to you in a book, you know? And so now I'm killing two birds with one stone, because I don't have to write nothing new. All I got to do is take it from here and write it like that.
And then I'm reducing the workload because I don't have to draw everything.
You ain't got to draw nothing. All I got to do, copy, paste, edit, and make sure it sound nice. So the books, and then on top of that, of course, the animation as well. And then, I mean, the clothing, the plushies, anything else?
Well, just merch in general.
Yeah, just merchandise.
Like, because plushies would count just in the merch.
Yeah, in the merch. Yeah.
You know, group, we got keychains, we got stickers, we do, you know, just like little stuff. Anything that we can put our stuff on, you know, whether it's like, you know, canvas prints, you know, pillows, just anything in the merch room, we do that too. We also stream. You know, we have a streaming platform. We're on Twitch, so we, you know, we play games and stuff. Like just, it doesn't even have to be related to what we're doing. It's just the team is marketable too, right? Us as individuals are marketable. So us playing games on Twitch, you know, that's another stream of income.
It's just trying to do business, but it's trying to make sure that, like, we enjoy being here. Yeah. You know, because I mean, if we are a studio and, you know, the primary goal is to produce like media, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like creating content is fun, you know? Like, yeah, you know, we're trying to monetize it. We're trying to bring in revenue from it, trying to bring in a significant amount of revenue from this, you know, but in the end of the day, we're just two guys, you know, that like to write and draw, you know, and that's the foundation of it.
So Have you guys been to some of the conventions and kind of spoken to some of those execs and figured out what's the timeline to become profitable? How much work did they actually have to put in?
It's hard really speaking to like execs, because I mean, this is a field that like not many people just like get off the ground, you know, from scratch, or even try to attempt.
It's
this.
one of them old boys type industry, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Shonens, they got
like,
their whole
like man, we
ecosystem.
My granddaddy's granddaddy, you know, like so. Trying to break into an industry like this, you know, like for one, like sometimes I don't even feel like it was designed for us to break into, you know. But on top of that, it's like you don't even know who to ask questions like this because now you competition, you know. Nobody want to give you the game ain't free, you know. So it's like, who do you talk to? Like, we've experienced so many bumps in the road just trying to figure this shit out, you know. And
Can
I
you
mean,
highlight a few of those bumps, just like some of the things that you had to persevere through?
yeah, absolutely, bro. Like, for the longest, he was the only artist, you know, until, you know, we got an assistant. And so with him being the only artist, it takes a lot to just get content out consistently, you know. And so for a while, it was just only a handful of us. So you got us trying to create content and then manage business operations as well, you know. So it's like, well, you know, Pat, I don't really have time to draw right now because we got to do taxes, you know. And so it's just stuff like that, you know, or like trying to, you know, go to different states for booths and things like that, you know, so we could try and, you know, touch like, you know, a different region of the country, and you get rejected by a booth just because they don't know who you are. You're not big enough yet, you know. Like, those are just some of the things that we've been having to overcome. Like, when I tell you, like, a lot of the success that we've had comes from like unorthodox means. Like, I mean it, you know, like we've had to like sneak members in line, you know, with books, you know, to try and, you know, get them to talk to celebrities on our behalf, you know, and take pictures so we could try and build those connections. You know, like I said, me and this man, we got chased out of a convention because, you know, some animators, you know, from a studio in Japan came to Dallas for a convention, and we ended up sneaking one of them a copy, you know. Like, it's stuff like that, you know. Like, when there's a will, there's a way, you know, but it really has been an uphill battle. And I mean, I'm not complaining. We never do. But it is not easy.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, wearing all them hats early on, like, you know, I draw, but I did our website from scratch on Squarespace, and I had to manage the website. And then I was also the person, I still am the person, one of the main people that ships out stuff. You know, buying all the, designing our merch, buying all of our merch, you know, because we don't get it all from one place. Like, we have different sellers we buy like keychains from versus, you know, the books and stuff like that. So, we're so grateful that our team has grown to the point where we're like, I don't have to wear those hats no more. I barely have to log into the website anymore. We have somebody that does that. Somebody
do the website
like,
now.
It's now we got somebody in charge of fashion. I barely have to log into the Teespring.
So what does it look like creating that company culture and getting that buy-in? What did y'all have to do to really get people to see that vision and then also to get them to constantly execute?
Before they came on the team, they were fans, you know, because I mean, a lot of people want to be a part of something, you know, and when they see it, you know, from the outside looking in, you know, it's like, oh, this is great. I really want to be a part of this, you know, and so like, of course, you got to be selective. I mean, with company at this point, you can't just hire everybody that submit an application, you know.
You just take anybody.
Yeah, you just take anybody. Exactly, you know. But to get them to buy into the culture, you know, like, I don't know. I think I've always kind of had this gift where just people believe in some of the stuff that I say, some of the stuff that I do, because I got some crazy dreams, and they think that it's something that's worth helping me chase after. And so far, like, I've been extremely grateful, you know, would not be here without everybody, you know, but just creating that culture is really just, you know, kind of making sure that everybody gets that rapport with one another. Like you say, you know, we like to stream video games, you know, stuff like that. So we'll be online, you know, playing video games, you know, might pour up a couple of drinks or whatever, and we just shooting the breeze or whatever, or we travel to these different conventions together, and we'll get an Airbnb, so we all just hanging out, cooking, stuff like that. Playing
It's like
games.
a retreat,
It's
but
like
it's
a
still
retreat,
focused
man.
business.
Like,
Yeah,
we're really family oriented, and that's the kind of brand, that's the kind of business that I wanted to create. So by me being that kind of person, like the team, they follow that lead, and so we will real welcoming, to anybody that walks through those doors, because they're always gonna have a say in who comes through. I never let anybody on that. The team was like, I don't know about this pet. So creating that culture is just by us spending time together, and then we all have like mutual interests. Everybody likes video games, or like anime, or like fashion. We like going out, cooking, things of that nature. So off rip, we all have similar interests, and that's the foundation. For us getting together.
Yeah, connecting outside of business talk, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But even during business talk, I mean, the way that our meetings and everything are structured is still very much like family oriented. Everybody gets to talk during the meeting. You got something to say, raise your hand, say something. It's not just the executives or the people at the top that are talking, and everybody else just listen.
The important point, the important thing for me is like everybody having a voice. Like if you're gonna follow us on this crazy ass journey, then you got to say something. What happens, and I always got an ear to listen.
Gotcha. I love it, man. Like building out that culture is super important,
Absolutely.
especially like whenever it comes to a young company. I mean, we're ourselves, we're still a young company, and building culture is extremely important. I love that you guys have that with your team, so that like as you continue to grow, they'll continue to have that buy-in. So I have to ask this question: for these people, is it like salary type stuff, or is it, hey, okay, we're gonna throw you some equity this way? Because I know a lot of times in our community, people like to shy away from the idea of offering equity, and it's as a form of compensation.
100%, bro. Not gonna lie to you right here. Everybody is voluntary right now. Straight up voluntary. Like
either volunteer or pro bono.
Yeah,
that's what's up.
And I mean,
but that's believing in the vision. That's people that's
and it's
bought in.
like I would give anything to like be able to like handsomely pay them right now. But I mean,
you're getting it up, like
and
it's almost there.
Yeah, and everybody understands like, okay, like, and the studio ain't even 2 years old.
Barely a year. Just made a year in July. And so they believe in it. They want to work here forever, full time. They, I already said, "Hey, I'm gonna work here." You know what I'm saying? Like, let's go. And so it's a team full of go-getters. It's a team that believes in the vision and what we putting out. And I mean, that motivates me to work harder,
Right.
So, with that being said, like...
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. It's tax season, and we're all a bit tired of numbers. But here's one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Now here's a good number. 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, they'll fix it. Guaranteed. Save up to 40% your first year at LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
What's some things on the cusp? How are y'all going to start taking on projects for people so y'all can start getting this $100 a second type shit?
$100 a second is crazy.
So we have been exploring like some commissions. Of course, we're gonna make sure we get all that in writing, so it's it's contractual. Right now, we're working on our first pilot project for God Punch that we're doing in house. And the importance of that is having work to show other people so that they want to come and do work with you. But of course, like, man, we've been working on God Punch for a while, so like we really want to get this out, man. We got voice actors, like we really went all out to try and make this project a success. But yeah, eventually we're going to get to a point that, we are going to start accepting commissions and larger projects. But right now we're working on this first one.
Y'all content.
Yeah, we're working on this first one. And like once we get that first one, hey man, it's up.
So when can we expect to see God Punch?
The first one, I know animation, they're quite literally working on it right now as we speak. I know a while ago they told me they want to try and shoot for like end of November around like Thanksgiving time. I'm not in the business of rushing them. I want it to look good. I emphasize a healthy work-life balance. So I want them to, be able to be comfortable and not, really fret or stress about it. So I'll tap back in with them November. We meet bi-weekly to talk about the project anyway, so they fill me in on what's going on. Mm-hmm. November, we'll get an update. If it's ready, cool. If not, I'd say probably around like January we can expect something.
Okay, and where can people go to just keep updated on all of that? What's the website?
So our website is www.studiomaho.com. That's MAHO. And that's where you can check us out, check out our projects. You can read God Punch Blade Titans for free. You can learn a little bit more about the team, some of the things that we've done, some of the places that we're preparing to travel to in the future. We're trying to go on tour as well,
We don't try, we do.
Oh, we do. We're going to Atlanta end of this month, Halloween weekend for a convention, and we're not on no business. We're gonna go out there, just to kind of get away and be a fan for once in a while. Because we haven't traveled anywhere as fans in a long time. We still gonna trap out the backpack though. We going back to the roots. Greatness ain't never forget where you come from. So we gonna bring the backpack and we gonna, what I'm saying?
Got the books in the back.
Yeah. So for anybody that wants to get a hand on a physical copy, can they also get it at the Studio Maho website?
Yes, sir.
That's where you can buy our books, keychains. Every once in a while, we do like raffles and giveaways on there too. And it has a link to our it has a link to our merch site, which is through Teespring. So all of our T-shirts and mugs, canvas prints.
Yeah, we'll have some information like about our Kickstarter as well to like help fund the animation project a little more. Because I named Studio Maho Japanese for magic. Slogan is where the magic happens. So we trying to give you some quality animation. Again, I don't want you to like it just because it's black. I want you to like it because it's good. Being black, icing on top of the cake.
It's got to be undeniable.
Undeniable.
Yeah,
I love it.
You gonna feel it.
So look, we're gonna get into a few of our
closing
questions.
Yeah.
I'll let you go first.
All right, so my favorite question to ask everybody.
All right.
What's a personal finance tip or principle that you live by that you like to share with others?
Personal finance tip or principle? I don't know if protecting your content counts or protecting your brand or your business. Does it count? I don't know.
Protecting your assets.
Protecting your assets. Yeah. Get your real good lawyer. Don't pull no strings on an attorney, man. I like to emphasize just protecting your business. Even, when we were in the process of becoming like an official business, I reached out to my attorney. I was like, hey, okay, let's take this to the next level. Like, all right, we need to copyright some stuff. We need to get this LLC. We need to be official, and she took care of all that for us. Just make sure you got everything in place. Make sure your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed before you start putting stuff out there, because people are hateful and they will take your ideas. Do not leave your business vulnerable.
Yeah, for me, definitely document everything that you that you buy as a business.
Document and keep copies.
If you buy anything, if you just go to lunch on business, that counts.
Facts.
Just literally document everything. Like, I think we just recently got into using like spreadsheets and stuff just to be really diligent about everything, because we may just be on a trip, but
claim them deductions.
Claim all them things that you can put on your taxes, So, I would say definitely be real diligent about your expenses, because that is very important at the end of the day.
That's just a fact, man. As Carter told us on episode 178, 9,
77.
One of them two. But taxes are like one of the biggest expenses of our lives, and being business owners is one of the easiest ways that we can lower our tax liability. Like, just the things you just mentioned. You can write off dinners with all of y'all. Y'all going on this trip. That's a write-off, right? Y'all may be going to be a fans as part of it, but as long as y'all discussing business and y'all working on it, y'all go in on a Friday and leave on a Monday, as he taught us on that episode, you can wrap the whole weekend. The plane tickets, the Airbnb, all these things can be tax deductible. So I do appreciate you mentioning that, because y'all know we ain't trying to give Uncle Sam no more money than we already giving.
He take enough as you.
I'm telling you, man. I be looking at my check a little hot. I be like, hey, bro, you ain't come sit down and work with me. I ain't gonna lie. I'm working as an IA. I be in front of a computer 60 hours a week, bro. And y'all just come in here like, you could take a fourth of my shit, dog?
Right. Cut me some slack.
Yes, sir. But Jalen, your questions, my dog?
I'm I'm trying to remember my first question. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm fucking up, man.
Damn, boy, the tequila done got you.
There you go. You on sitting sideways.
I feel like Paul Wall right now. So I know my last two questions.
Okay.
Sorry, audience. We're just gonna skip this one for right now. My second question I normally always ask is, what is a way that you're building wealth to leave a legacy for your family?
The idea for us is to continue to grow each individual department. Like I told you, like we got fashion and merch, we got the manga, we got the animation as well. The idea is to produce significant amounts of income from all three of those, because at the end of the day, it's all under one umbrella. If I can make 6 or 7 figures from all of those, well, I mean, that all come to us, because it's all Studio Maho, So the idea is to create 6-7 figure, industries out of everything that we're trying to do under the Maho umbrella, and just continue to pass that down to our kids, Because once it's gone and once it's established, money gonna make itself, because there's a need for the content. There's a need for what we're trying to do.
And as long as there's to grow.
And as long as there's a demand for it, like getting established is the hard part. Yeah. Once you establish, hey man, we just gonna keep on passing it down. The goal is to become immortal, and I know I'm not gonna be here for forever, but as long as something that I've built is here, I'll never die.
I love it. So I'm gonna let you answer that. You kind of segue into that last one.
Okay.
And I also remember the first one. So we're good.
Yeah. So like Patrick said, like a lot of our the other streams of income will really just go sit in the bank account for the most part, because to get reinvested into those businesses, but once we're established, like the main streams of income will make more than enough for the business to thrive. Those other streams are just here for residual assets here and there, and also we talked about this recently, that we may explore the idea of a parent company, that if we ever decide to branch out into any other significant business ventures, they're all under one parent company that we own. So.
That's dope. Okay, so I'll jump back to the first question.
Yeah.
Okay. First question is, are you frugal or are you a flexer?
Man, I'm a flex. I ain't even gonna hold you. I mean, flex responsibly. That's my thing. I mean, I ain't never been, with them big old diamond chains, stuff like that. Like, they ain't never been
the bust down.
They ain't never been me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like to be subtle, but that's just my own personal style. But I mean, like, I grew up in the Cash Money era as a kid, watching Birdman, Manny Fresh and all them videos, my daddy was a stoner too, so I mean, I kind of grew up watching that and, wanting to be that, but I also recognize the importance of living within your means and, sometimes living below your means so that you can retain, most money that you possibly can. So it's doing within reason, but I mean, I like to dress nice. I like to look nice. I like to keep myself up. I like to treat myself to nice things because I didn't necessarily have them when I was younger. Daddy was a stunner. Don't mean he was mine. I just like to take care of myself, man. To me, I guess I never really considered it being a flex. I just considered it, all a part of self-care. You look good, you feel good. And for me, when I feel good, I'm able to operate at my best.
Okay, then. Coach Prime.
Yeah, I'm low key the same way. I mean, I like to look nice and stuff too. We flex in different ways.
We do, yeah.
Flex in different ways. Like, I think Patrick, you really like shoes.
I love shoes.
There's we have certain things that we'll flex on. Mine is my equipment.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I got to make sure I got the best
Dexter's
equipment.
lab up in his office, man. Like, you walking in there like NASA or something, bro.
Like, I'm a PC gamer, so I gotta make sure my equipment is tip top. I just recently upgraded my setup and everything. I didn't do nothing super crazy. I didn't blow thousands of dollars on it or anything.
You talk to his equipment, it just come to life like a transformer.
Yeah, nothing like that. Nothing that crazy. Like I'm the type of person I'll upgrade things one at a time. I'm not going to upgrade everything at once. Yep. I got a nice new setup because that benefits me as a person that works at that workstation all day. Mm-hmm. It looked nice too, though. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you said, it's like flexing within reason. You know, I like my stuff to look good. I like myself to look good. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, I am smart with my money. They say if you can't pay for it twice, you probably shouldn't be buying it.
You shouldn't be buying it.
Yeah.
Also, as a face of a company, it's important to look good.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be the one out there, on camera, you're gonna be the one talking. It's important to keep yourself up. And everybody want to do business with you. You out here looking raggedy. You got the big old 90s Steve Harvey suits on. You look like you just got drafted in 04 to the NBA with them big old 7-button suits on.
Yeah, you can't be out here.
Yeah, you can't be out here down bad, man. But it's doing it within reason, man.
That's so bad. So my last question, like I said, the second.
Yeah.
You talked about not being here forever. So my last question to every guest is always, do you have life insurance?
Yes. I got it through my job, and then I also have a policy outside of that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. That's a bit.
I believe I do. So I still live with my parents.
Okay.
So I want to say that I do have life insurance. I'm pretty sure I do.
Okay. Well, I need you to double check.
I'm gonna double check. I'm gonna double check, but I'm pretty sure.
We like to educate. You can always get term, which is basically renting life insurance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you can do that for 20 to 30 years. Or how old are you right now?
26.
26. Like you're in prime years to get a whole life policy at a really low rate.
Yeah.
And you can build equity into that policy. So I definitely say just look into that, see what it looks like, see what some of those rates is.
Yeah.
I know I got like $250,000 worth of life insurance.
Mm-hmm.
It's like $28 a month. So, hey, it's always.
And we just learned about some shit called return of premium policies. Them shit's kind of hard, bro. So like it's a little bit more expensive. It's not gonna be $20. It might be like $70.
Okay.
But at the end of the term, if you don't die, you get your money back.
Yeah.
So say like you was paying $70 a month for 20 years. That's like almost 20 bands. That you'll get back 20 years from now just for not dying. I think that's a pretty good return.
Take that. I go straight to the gym. Go straight to the. Okay.
Yeah.
If that's the case, we talk about life insurance, man. Look, I work in healthcare as well. Get you some advanced directives. Get you a living will. Make sure your family taken care of. Make sure they know what your wishes are. You pass away, because we don't need all that confusion at the hospital. People fighting. We don't know who getting what.
The worst. Tearing families apart.
Tearing families apart, man. Get your advanced directives together.
I love it. And if y'all need more about that, go listen to our episode with Lily and Kenshore. I don't remember what episode.
109.
109.
I'm lying. I don't know.
He said it was
I'm like, okay. This nigga knows some shit.
I don't know, but
it's around that area, though. I know it is around that area.
The name of the episode is Wealth is Intentional.
Yes.
There we go.
With Lily and Kenshore, and we talk about estate planning, some of the documents that you need, like Patrick just alluded to, so you can keep some of that confusion from whenever you do pass, because we all have an expiration date. We don't know when it is, but we all got one. So thank you for bringing that up, my brother.
Yeah.
And
can y'all please, you guys have
I was just going to thank you for coming on to the show, man.
Thank you for
I want to appreciate
us.
y'all coming out, man. Definitely coming out to Dallas, educating us on the animation game. I learned a lot this episode about the anime studio. And as Jalen was about to get into, if anybody wants to tap in with y'all personally, follow you guys, or again, support the studio.
This nigga Pat is crazy on Twitter.
Oh man, I ain't the man I used to be, man. I done calmed down.
How many profiles have been deactivated,
man? A lot. But I was hell on wheel.
Hold on, man. 1 second. You can't talk too much. You got about 3 times.
Yeah.
I got once, like really out the paint. Yeah. But I have been like deactivated.
You talking about my Twitter? I know that man off the podcast. I know him in real life. I know him for real. Y'all don't know him like how I know him. I've seen him man many times creeping through them apartments.
Wait a minute.
I ain't trying to call a time out.
Oh, you want to call a time out now?
I'm talking about stuff that was public records, man.
My bad, Jalen.
What can they follow y'all? What can they keep up, dog?
Yeah. Please, most importantly, check out the website www.studiomaho.com. Again, that's MAHO, Studio Maho. That is all one word. You could follow us on Twitter at Studio Maho, IG at Official Studio Maho. My business email is pthomas@studiomaho.com if you want to communicate after this. But yeah, that's where you can read us primarily, man. Please just check out the website, check out the things that we have to offer because we're here to stay.
Yep. And like I said, follow the website, follow the Instagram, Twitter. I think we have a TikTok now.
We got TikTok.
TikTok
we got Twitch,
is Studio Maho official.
Yeah, Studio Maho
on
official.
TikTok. If you like gaming, you want to see us just hanging out and just outside of the content itself. Follow Studio Maho Gaming on Twitch. We're trying to hit affiliate, so get our followers up. You can follow me, Kokujin Creates, KOKUJIN Creates, but with a K, on Instagram. On Twitter, I'm Yin_designs. And yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That's it. You want to put out your personal Twitter?
Oh no, I don't mind, man. Like, he ain't probably gonna be here too long. My IG is Honorable Gumbo, and my Twitter is Gumbo the Goon. So yeah, I got personality outside of the business stuff, man. So I try to behave on there, man. But that ain't never no fun.
That's because you got PR now. So.
I got PR, and they ain't never
can't be too wild.
Yeah, I be running away from them. So
they be having to rein you in.
They be having to rein me in. Yeah, I be running away from them.
You can't say that.
You can't say that. You can't take that down. Man, y'all ain't no fun, man. But yeah, please check us out, man. It's been an honor to be here. Thank y'all for having us.
Yes, appreciate it, brother.
All the listeners, if y'all into anime, y'all make sure y'all go get the manga. Y'all be on the lookout for the actual anime that's going to be dropping of God Punch. I need y'all to do that.
I'm going to be tapped in. You already know.
I already know it. And we're going to get into some house cleaning of our own. I want to say thank you to all the listeners week in, week out. Thank y'all for, helping us get to where we are. Once again, we are on Revolt Podcast Network. I want y'all to help us get to the #1 show. Right now, Carisha Please is killing us. But I understand it's Young Miami. She's great, and I want to commend her for what she's doing, but we need that #1 show. I want everybody to know that what we do, we take our content serious as well. We make sure that we put out the best content, get the best guests, and try to do this week in and week out for you guys. So once again, please leave that 5-star rating and review. If you're on Twitter, if you're on YouTube, I need you to click that subscribe button. I need you to hit that little noti bell, leave me a thumbs up, and drop us a comment. What you got, David?
And look, y'all already know I'm coming. Black Men Summit. I need you in the building. You're a black man. Make sure you tap in with us. Come be in the building.
October 22nd, Saturday.
If you cannot be there, go to the website, blackmensummit.com, and grab you a virtual ticket. We look forward to creating something that's... I don't even know what word I want to use to describe it, but it's going to be something that's the culture's never seen before. So
it's going to be something very magical. It's going to be something that is much needed, something that our community has been lacking. So we're bringing brothers together from all walks of life. Come dress your best. We're going to be looking good, smelling good. We're going to be out here to really just empower one another. Iron sharpens iron, and that's what we're going to be doing with this summit. So once again, this is for all the brothers. We're creating a safe space for us. If you feel like you haven't been heard, if you feel like you've been tossed to the side, come to this environment. We're going to make sure that we all walk out of this feeling empowered, feeling refreshed, and feeling like we're about to go ahead and change the legacy for black men in our community.
Let's build something special.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. But that's all from me. So on that note, y'all, until next time, this is Black Wealth Renaissance signing out.
Peace.
Deuces.
McDonald's has entered a Minecraft movie universe, and Grimace, Birdie, and Hamburglar just spawned as new collectibles as part of a Minecraft movie meal with your choice of Big Mac or 10-piece Chicken McNuggets with spicy nether flame sauce. Participate in McDonald's for a limited time. A Minecraft movie only in theaters.